Mark, welcome to the programme.
Thank you. Hello.
Well, and just, you were telling me, but when did your love affair with Bond start?
When I broke out of my shell and Roger Moore was the first Bond looking down on me, and I was ingrained on, so I've been Team Roger since sort of mid-80s, 85 onwards.
I have to say, you've got a look of Simon Templar this afternoon.
I can take
Is that a compliment?
Yeah, I do like a polo neck and a zip top. Yeah, just for going around town.
Just for hanging out. You look fantastic. So tell us about this takeover. And you're saying actually there's a bit of a buyout happened prior to this that we might not know about.
Yeah. It's not that suddenly Amazon came in and put James Bond in their basket and bought him out. That they bought the rights to MGM Studios output, or a particular percentage of it. I think that deal was in the air and then it was finalised 2 or 3 years ago now. So the potential was that Eon, who are the Broccoli's, the Bond producing captains, they were going to go into producing leagues with Amazon MGM Studios and do a sort of 50-50 creative deal with Amazon bankrolling it as well. That's kind of not happened. We can all project and wonder why. But, also times move on and technology moves on, and consumption and audiences and how we consume our movies changes. And whilst, a lot of us have different views about Amazon as a company and a global monolith, I think Bond and Bond's future needs the might and tech of Amazon. I don't see it as a bad thing. And also the Broccoli's are still co-owners. That was very carefully still there in the first paragraph as this news release.
There's a lot. We're at a crossroads, aren't we, really? Because there is one camp that says, back cinema. There's a dilution going on, especially of a franchise that's so famous, and there's always so much anticipation. Everything from the title sequence to who's doing the music to who is the Bond to who are the villains. That's the franchise that makes stars out of people. Yes. Because it's such box office. Is going in with the streaming platform going to take away the magic? That's the worry, isn't it?
It's slightly scary. I'm a little bit, hang on. But one thing I'm banking on here is Amazon Studios and Amazon MGM Studios. They're based in Hollywood. They've got their offices as the old Cecil B. DeMille office. They have been producing theatrical films that have won Oscars and been seen, in live movie theatres. So they're not totally streaming. And I do still feel that even they will understand the benefit of a theatrical release of, the 007, hopefully in times to come. I think we'll also possibly, the wheels could be a little greased by this announcement. Things might start moving and falling into a place quicker than perhaps they were going to do a month ago.
By which you mean, who will be the next Bond?
Yeah, who's the next Bond? Who's the director? I mean, next Bond, there's so many factors in place: director, writer, studio. And the Broccoli's will still have some sort of, they'll still have some advisory role. I don't think they've totally left it behind. We don't even know what legacy they left. They may have all been in agreement on who's taking it forward.
Yeah, I mean, of the shortlist of Bonds, I've written down Josh O'Connor, Tom Hardy. That's where my list stops.
Yeah.
Who would you add to that?
Tom Hardy would be great. I think he's too old. There's a lot of guys that keep getting quoted. I'm like, they're too old. And I think Amazon's going to bring it younger. I think we're looking at early 30s. But like you said, Paul Mescal's a good name. Kingsley Benadir, who's one of the Kens in the Barbie movie. I just keep an eye on him. He's got a sort of Connery swagger about him.
Oh, okay.
Harris Dickinson, who's a British actor doing well in Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman at the moment. He's kind of very English, very British. I hope they stick with the British DNA and origins of the role. I think they would be foolish to move away from that. But, time will tell as well as maybe die.
Yeah, well, very good. There is a worry, though. We were talking about Doctor Who and Disney Plus taking over the franchise, and that, some might say, has kind of added in a lot of money to it, but it's kind of maybe lost the magic that Doctor Who had, or it certainly changed it. There is a concern, Star Wars being another franchise that's kind of gone on and on and on, and it's not necessarily worked out when all these tributaries are followed.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is a really good current example. Whilst that's not an Amazon property, it's tied into Disney. There has been, lots of TV series spin-offs. Some have fallen and tripped and been cancelled. Others have soared. So the potential could happen with Bond. I do personally feel we will have a Bond actor and a Bond film, and then maybe we'll explore the side shoots. We're probably going to have a new M, Moneypenny, Q. It's a difficult one, though, and I can understand the fan and audience's sort of hesitation in that sidebar spin-off world. Whilst I don't think we're going to get Stavro Blofeld and his dining tour of Italy with Stanley Tucci, I think I'll watch it. Of course I will. But I feel they'll stick with theatrical and then it will evolve. And I think possibly it needs to. We are in different times, different ways of consuming our stuff. And Amazon have more money than at least one Jesus. So I think they will... I'm not totally scared of the monolith sort of fear of this right now. Hopefully I'm not proved wrong.
They actually are very good at reinventing. We were talking about the the Bourne franchise. And when Bourne came out in 2002, the next Bond movie... Obviously, it looked back over its shoulder and thought, that's what it needs to be. It needs to be harder. It needs to be edgier. We need to remind ourselves this guy is an assassin. And it was absolutely fantastic, Casino Royale, the first Daniel Craig movie. Is that what Bond needs to do now to kind of find its feet anew?
Yeah, he needs to run out of the new gates. I think it needs to be a younger actor. Thing with that, I was going to say, it potentially was going to be an actor none of us had thought about, and they go, oh yeah, I know him. But Amazon can afford whoever they want. We could potentially go to an A-lister or a future A-lister, which is what Daniel Craig became.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that kind of pushed him up there. We have to finish with you and your love affair with Bond. Just director, actually, first of all. Could you see a particular director taking it on, or is that just too far off now?
I don't think it's going to be far off at all. Edward Berger, the guy that did Conclave recently and All Quiet on the Western Front, keep an eye on him. I just think he's doing good work. He's doing good work with British actors as well.
Yeah, I actually went to a talk with him recently, and he's got the humour as well, hasn't he, that guy? He's incredible, Edward Berger. You kind of think that would be lovely to bring back in Bond as well, wouldn't it?
And I saw Conclave for the first time the other night, and I was surprised by just how classical and traditional it was. It was a really simple story, ABC done, and that's what Bond needs. But also Edgar Wright, another director, and he would love and kill to do a Bond. So there are lots of people out there. I actually think the martini glass is half full tonight.
Love that analogy. And you are such a massive Bond fan. Your favourite Bond?
Roger Moore.
What did he do at your wedding?
He sent a telegram wishing two grooms at Pinewood all the best.
Oh my goodness! And I asked you where that telegram is, and you don't know.
It's in. I know where it is, but you're right. Maybe I should frame it, get some security cameras out. Yeah, just make a thing of it.
Put that in the downstairs toilet. Been fantastic having you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us. That is Mark O'Connell, who wrote the book Catching Bullets: Memoirs of a Bond Fan. It's 13 minutes to 7.
I wonder what Mark thinks of Odd Jobs for Odd Job. The suggestion from Richard.
I'm listening now.
From Richard earlier. As a spin-off idea, Mark.
I'm trying. Yeah, there's so much fun.
Kind of home improvement program.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
With a short assassin.
Yeah, Drax and Zorin going to sort of fix up an Italian villa.
Yeah. Exactly. You're on it.
Don't. We could regret all this. Yeah.
Coming to Amazon soon.
Yeah, totally.